What's up, Rubber Breakers? No Policies here, and today I am here with our Week 2 video for the CSL. Now, for those of you who are new, the CSL is a battling league, but most of you probably know that, so I'm just going to kind of go a little bit faster. Since my last video was kind of long, don't want that to be as long. It doesn't need to be, super long. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Getting into the Chicago Bouffalants team, which is who we're facing, which, by the way, is coached by Todd. Amazing guy. Great guy. Love him. That came out wrong, but he is a really nice dude. And, yeah, so really excited to battle him. And getting into this match, we already see a pretty scary team. There are a few mons that stand out in particular. Of course, Latios, always a threat, especially in OU. Draft League format, it's even more of a threat because you can run so much coverage, especially against our team. Moves like Energy Ball to hit our mons like Seismitoad, T-Bolt for Empoleon. Draco hits relatively hard, hits Dragonite, and it hits a lot of our mons. Just a lot of different coverage moves that this thing gets. Psyshock, Psychic, just in general, has a lot of coverage and can be really annoying to deal with, and you don't really know what it's going to be. It could be Life Orb, it could be Choice Scarf, which I was very afraid of going into this match. Choice Specs to get a lot of extra damage. Could be Z-Move, too, because Todd's Z-Move users are going to be, I believe it's Latios. Here, I'll look at it. It's Latios, Crocodile, and Celebi. So, some interesting Z-Mons. Honestly, Latios is probably the most threatening out of those for Z-Mons, but, Crocodile could also put in a lot of work. Mega Heracross, pretty slow, but at the same time can deal a lot of damage and really kind of take a hit and dish one out back. It doesn't really have much recovery, but it can hit very, very hard with base 185 attack, I think it has. Something like that. Next up, we have Crocodile. Not that... it's not the... I have a lot of defensive mons, so it is kind of threatening. Choice Scarf is definitely the most threatening to my team. But if it's not, if it's banned, it could also be annoying. Honestly, it's just a threatening mon, but we have our checks to it, so I think we can handle it pretty well. Next up, we have Celebi. Kind of annoying mon to deal with. It's very bulky, and it can be a really annoying mon, especially if it's Coal Mine. That can be really obnoxious. Ironic, always a really bulky wall. Will be annoying to deal with, but we do have Delmi, so that should be able to handle that quite nicely. Aromatisse in general is going to be a hard one to deal with, considering we only have Empoleon as a steel type, which isn't even really that offensive, and since its special bulk is pretty good, not really going to have a easy time breaking through Aromatisse. But we also, again, have Delmis, which kind of provides as a steel type, but not a steel type with Steelworker, and it will deal a lot of damage to that too. As you can tell, I am bringing Delmis this week. I should have spoiled that, but either way, Braviary, not too threatening. It's kind of slow, and a lot of my faster mons can outspeed it and kind of take it out. Raikou is a prime example. Hitmonchan can be annoying. Honestly, there's just kind of, the rest are kind of annoying. However, Steelix can be a big problem because it's going to be difficult to break through just in general. Because it can set up rocks. It's a great lead. It has sturdy, so you can just lead Steelix, kind of get up your rocks and just stay there. So that can be a really annoying mon to deal with. Flareon, too. We do have a lot of resist to Flareon, like Seismitoad. And maybe a potential Silvally and Dragonite as well. But at the same time, Silvally and Dragonite and all those mons don't really appreciate Flareon. It is really bulky, so it's kind of annoying to deal with that, too. And finally, we have Rotom Fan. Can be a little bit annoying if it's Scarf. I don't really think he's going to bring it, though. It could honestly put in a bit of work, so if he does bring it, it could potentially work. But overall, his team is quite scary, and let's just go over my team and see what we brought. So anyway, going into my team, we have Mega Pidgeot with Hurricane, Heatwave, U-Turn, and Tailwind. I was contemplating putting on Roost instead of Tailwind for recovery, but at the same time, I was like, do I really want Roost, or do I want Tailwind, especially with mons like, slower mons like Silvally, and maybe even Delmis, really benefit from that Tailwind. it really just helps out because of this fact. It just allows my slower mons to outspeed and maybe outpace maybe like Scarf Crook, Scarf Latios in general. Just in general, just outspeed a lot of his mons. And while Roost would be nice, I really don't think it's that necessary. Unfortunately, we do have to run Timid this week on Mega Pidgeot because he does have Latios, which we are sped correct to outspeed. So unfortunately, we can't get that extra boost of power. But Mega Pidgeot will put in a ton of work this week. I can already tell because of the fact that he really has no Hurricane switch-ins. His only really Hurricane switch-in would be maybe Steelix, Aromatisse, Milotic maybe, but even that takes like 45% max. So it's not really a switch-in. So I don't know if I would say it would be a switch-in, but alas. Heat Wave is pretty much there for Steelix, and that's really it. Honestly, it just hits Steelix a little bit harder, and maybe snag a burn, I guess, if I really am that desperate. But yeah, U-Turn is there for momentum. We already explained Tailwind's usage, but U-Turn is really nice because he has mons like Celebi and Latios, which take a tremendous amount from U-Turn, even with the timid nature. I'm not going to run like Hasty or Naive. I really don't think it's necessary. U-Turn will definitely still do a decent chunk to those mons. Anyway, next up we have Silvally Fairy. Now this first week I'm bringing Silvally. I expect it to put in a ton of work, but also at the same time not. It really doesn't have much recovery, which is really annoying. So I pretty much need to run Rest. It's unfortunate that I have to do that, but it's really kind of for the best. We are running Multi-Attack, which hits a lot of his team. He really doesn't have a Fairy Resist outside of Steelix, and Flareon as well, which is why I'm running Surf for Steelix and Flareon, both hitting them okay damage. It doesn't really hit Flareon for that much, but I actually think it does less than Multi-Attack, but I don't know. We are running a more defensive spread. This allows me to 1v1 mons like Heracross very well. Yeah, mons such as that. And in general, just kind of take hits from defense or more off attack-oriented mons. It's kind of another check to Crocodile as well. You can take hits from that, and really, in general, it's really kind of just meant to stay there and take hits and attack back with multi-attack. It's really nice. Parting Shot, of course, is there to gain some more momentum. Kind of works well in tangent with Mega Pidgeot. Also, can maybe get a potential like attack or special attack drop if we are in a kind of a pickle and we need to lower something's attack or special attack, maybe if it's a setup mon. So that would be kind of nice in order to deal with that. I already explained Surf. So anyway, next up we have Delmies. I probably shouldn't go too far into that, but Delmies, Cobra Berry, pretty much a kind of last-ditch effort check to, what is it? Crocodile. Of course, Cobra Berry, pretty standard, honestly. It's kind of expected. If I bring in a Delmies on a Crocodile or without, like, expecting to die from a knockoff, then I'm crazy. Because Delmies, I think, lives at +2 knockoff. I'm not sure about that, but I know it can live +1. I'm not sure about +2. So, if we're in a tight spot where Crocodile's starting to get a little bit scary, we can always bring in Delmies, hopefully at their range of HP, in order to live a knockoff. But yeah, Cobra just allows us to take a nice little chunk of damage. We are kind of speed invested. Now, this is really for Aromatisse, just in case Todd decides he wants to put a little bit of speed on Aromatisse in order to outpace Delmies and potentially get more damage off or Wish Up or something like that before I can kill it back with Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam, Power Whip, Shadow Claw, Rapid Spin. Heavy Slam, I am running over Anchor Shot because it does a lot more damage to its team and has a much better chance to OHKO than Anchor Shot. Anchor Shot does not OHKO Aromatisse or have a chance to OHKO at all, while Heavy Slam is like 96 to 113, I want to say, to a max HP, max defense Aromatisse, which is really cool. Power Whip, of course, is there to hit things like Crocodile very hard, and Milotic. I think it actually kills Milotic, even if it's max HP, max special, or defense. And Shadow Claw is there for mainly Latios and Celebi. such as those mons, and hitting just a lot of his mons in general on his team for pretty good damage that isn't normal type. Next up, we have Cystic Fibrosis. We'll go to the last 3 mons. Cystic Fibrosis, the Seismitoad, with Leftovers. Kind of a standard stealth rocking, kind of defensive lead, I would say. I don't think I'll actually end up using it as a lead because I'll probably try to predict something else. But if it comes down to it, it's really just there to set up rocks, take a bunch of hits, and kind of wall the Milotic if it's not running something like HP Grass, because it doesn't get any Grass type coverage outside of that. So Scald is really there to hit a lot of his team. It does hit quite a bit, and it does hopefully have a good chance to burn. So, you know, getting that on like a Heracross or a potential Crocodile. I don't know why you would switch in a Crocodile, but if it's in, I can Scald it and maybe get a burn on it, and that could be really nice. Knockoff's really there to just knock off any item. I was considering running maybe like a Poison Jab or Sludge Bomb, but that really didn't hit his team too well, and I think Knockoff's just better because mons like Latios, who think they can come in, can just get knocked off, and you can scout for the item. Maybe it's Z-Move, maybe it's like Choice Specs or Life Orb and just knock that off, or Choice Scarf, which would be amazing because then it can outspeed Pidgeot, so that's really cool. And then finally we have Toxic. We do have to be a bit careful with this one because of Guts Flareon, but at the same time, being able to Toxic things on his team is very nice, especially the Milotic, which is really what it's mainly there for, just kind of whittling down the Milotic. Of course, we will be giving it that Marvel Scale, but at the same time, he will be getting whittled down. And this is also assuming that he doesn't have Heal Bell Aromatisse or Aromatisse at all, or he's just, I don't know, maybe like a Heal Bell or Lumberry. I don't know. But yeah, so Toxic would be nice, just whittling down his defensive walls. Next, we're running kind of a weird set. We're running an Assault Vest Raikou, but we're Rash Nature. Of course, this is because we are running Aura Sphere for things like Suicune, or not Suicune, Steelix, Steelix, Crocodile. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's there for. Steelix and Crocodile, hitting them very, very hard with that Aura Sphere. I could have run Shucka, but I think Assault Vest is actually really nice because while we have a lot of defensive mons and we have a lot of checks to things like Crocodile, I think Assault Vest is really there for kind of as a last-ditch effort for like maybe like a Calm Mind Latios or something like Choice Specs Latios. Of course, we can't hit it super effectively outside of Shadow Ball, which is super effectively, and it may not hit very hard if it's like Calm Mind, but I think Assault Vest is just kind of nice because it does allow me to take hits from things like Aromatisse, just a lot of the special mons in general. Celebi, maybe. Latios. Shadow Ball, of course, is there for Latios, Celebi, and Volt Switch and Thunderbolt are really there to hit anything that does not resist electric and is weak to it. So, say, maybe a Melodic, Heracross, things like that. Of course, I could have run something like maybe like an HP Flying or something for maybe like a Heracross or something, but I thought that was a little bit redundant. I don't think it's really that necessary to run that, just because Heracross takes a tremendous amount from a Thunderbolt anyway, and we're Rash, so we'll be doing a significant amount. And I don't know why you would really switch in a Heracross on a Raikou, but it could happen. So, I don't know. I think Thunderbolt's just better just because I do want better electric coverage that doesn't make me switch out. So I think Thunderbolt is just good electric stab, kind of given. Anyway, Dragonite, Choice Banded with E-Speed, Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch, and Fire Punch. Now, this set is kind of interesting. It hits super hard, that's for one. It kills Milotic with Thunder Punch. It does tremendous amounts of damage to anything that is weak to Fire Punch. So, things like Celebi take tremendous amounts. Heracross takes a lot from it. Dragon Claw just hits really a lot of stuff. Steelix doesn't take too much from Fire Punch, but it does do a lot of damage. So that might come in handy. Maybe if I get, like, hit a Scald with the Seismitoad and, I don't know, we get taken out or something like that. Revenge killing it. Essentially, this is going to be a really good kind of come in, take a hit, and then Revenge just hit something super hard, either kill it or deal a tremendous amount to where another mon can come in and take it out. E-Speed, of course, is there for things like Scarf Latios, or just Latios in general. Maybe if it's getting out of hand. Crocodile, come in, you know, E-Speed twice. Maybe it can't knock me out with Stone Edge, of course, because of multi-scale, unless it's at, like, a few Moxie boosts, or it's Bandit or something like that. Even Bandit should kill me, but either way, 2 E-Speeds can knock that thing out, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so that's going to be Dragonite, and Choice Band really just puts in a lot of work against this team, and while I could run Dragon Dance, I really like this amount of coverage that I get, because yes, because I only have like a +1 Dragon Dance, I'm not outspeeding Scarf Latios, I'm not outspeeding Scarf Crocodile, and if he's running like any other Scarf Mons, like maybe Scarf Braviary too, that's a speed tie, so it's like, kind of pick my poison. My EVs are really there because Jolly Nature. I could have run Adamant, honestly, but I think Jolly is just nice because it outspeeds Heracross, it outspeeds, or speed ties with Braviary, and it outspeeds maybe like a max speed Hitmonchan for some odd reason, because then maybe it would Ice Punch or something like that. I don't know. We're not going to be doing, well, I think it would actually kill a Hitmonchan. I didn't do the calc, but either way, that is going to be the team. Yeah, so let's get into the battle. Alright, so, anyway, looking at this battle, we immediately see Latios, Heracross, Flareon, Aromatisse, Crocodile, and Milotic. So, first thing off the bat, no hazard removal. There's no hazard removal at all, so that is amazing. Oh, actually, what am I saying? There's Defog Latios, but that's his only form of hazard removal, so that was something I noticed immediately. Other than Crocodile, he has no hazard setters either, which is really nice. And at the same time, I realized there was no Steelix, which meant that it's going to be very difficult for him to take hits from things like Raikou and Mega Pidgeot. So that was going to be a problem for him. And also that Dragonite could put in a ton of work this match if Aromatisse is gone or whittled down. Just make sure that Crocodile is to the point where I can take it out. Either way, I do want to make sure this is on slow, so that's going at a reasonable speed. So, going into this, I thought he would most likely lead with, say, I think I just led, I was going to lead, a few different mons. I was thinking Seismitoad, however, I thought he might lead, like, something like a, maybe like a Heracross, maybe a Latios. Honestly, I think a mon that I saw in my mind, a mon that 1v1'd a lot of his team was Raikou. So I decided to lead Raikou, and I get a great lead on this match, and he leads Milotic. So that is amazing for me. Getting that amazing first start to the battle is really great. So we can hit that thing super effectively. I didn't know if we wanted to risk... I didn't really want to risk going for Aura Sphere at the beginning of the game and him going for, like, a ton of damage on me. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to Volt Switch out and see what he's going to do. And I'm going to go into, what's-his-face? Seismitoad. Because, well, I mean, he can't really touch me, and I didn't think he would make the prediction this early on and go for the Grass move. Or the grass, like HP grass, or if he had that or something. But we find out he's Rakan Berry, which is good information. So now that we know he's not leftovers, so that's really good, and means he's not getting recovery over time. And he's not Flame Orb either, which is really, really great, because then I don't have to deal with Flame Orb Milotic, which is annoying. So I go into Seismitoad, just thinking that he really just wouldn't be able to really hit me. And he goes for the Mirror Coat, which is alright. I mean, we are max HP, so that isn't going to do too much. And I was like, you know what? I think it's just time to just set up my rocks. It's really not... I mean, there's... His team isn't that... is pretty weak to rocks. But he actually ended up going for the Magicoat, which is really nice. Not for me, but for him. It's really cool prep on his part, because I assume that he didn't have any hazard setters. Because, as you'll see with his truck set later, but... Magicoat is pretty cool, but at the same time, I was like, if he keeps Magicoating, I'm just getting recovery, so I can do this all day. I'm just getting free recovery. He can't Scald me. He most likely doesn't have HP Grass. If he does, that'd be pretty good prep, but it's also revealing more about his set. So I decided, finally he switches out into his Heracross, and I get up my Nice and Stealth Rocks up on the field. Now, of course, I didn't want to get my Seismitoad weakened any further than it already was, because it is very nice in taking on things like Crocodile and Flareon. So I decided to switch out into my Silvally, knowing that he, of course, would go for the Bullet Seed, because it was just very obvious that he would. And he goes for Bullet Seed. It does a good amount, and he ends up critting me, which is a little bit unfortunate because I'm pretty sure we would because I'm pretty sure we would live 2 Bullet Seeds. I know we could live 2 Rock Blasts, so after Rock, so. But he's ended up going to actually switch. I went for the rest here because if he got some low rolls, I was able to live that. I did want to preserve this thing, but at the same time, there's not many opportunities in which I can kind of get this thing back up. So, honestly, he makes kind of a good play, I guess. He goes into Aromatisse. I don't know if I really agree with that play. I guess he can take the multi-attack, of course. So, I guess what am I saying? I agree with that play. So, pretty much goes into Aromatisse, take the multi-attack. Could have been running Iron Head, but I am going to go for the rest. Could have gone for Parting Shot there, but I didn't think it was necessary. So I knew he'd probably go for the Wish, maybe trying to heal back up his Milotic or something like that. Just kind of scout what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go right into Delmies to potentially kill this thing off once and for all. I was willing to risk Crocodile to do that, and of course we do outspeed it normally. It is at full, so we don't have the best chance to kill, but I'm pretty sure I definitely don't go for Heavy Slam here. I'm pretty sure I just go for, oh, no, I go for Rapid Spin, because I just wanted to get these rocks out in the field, because, of course, Dragonite has multi-scale, Pidgeot takes a lot from rocks, so once I get these rocks on the field, they're gone for good, they cannot be set back up, and, of course, assuming that Crocodile isn't, like, a late-game rock setter. So, I go for the Rapid Spin, gets a good chunk. 13% is a really nice amount of HP to deal. Of course, his Flareon is kind of a threat. I can't really stay in against this thing. I couldn't have lived a Flare Blitz, I don't think. I am pretty defensive, but even then I don't think so. Anyway, of course, Seismitoad is my designated switch in to the Flareon. And we take almost measly damage from a Flare Blitz. Assuming that was most likely going to be, like, maybe, like, I think it was leftovers, as you'll see. No, it wasn't leftovers. It was probably Assault Vest then. So, he's going to go right back into, or not right back, but he's going to go into his Latios. Now, I do make kind of a misplay here, if he had stayed in. I kind of went for the Toxic, but I did expect him to go into Milotic, was really my play. That, Milotic or the Aromatisse. So I did go for the Toxic here, and I ended up catching the Latios on switch. I probably should have gone for knockoff here, just getting off damage, but, or just knocking off the Flareon's item. But I guess Toxic is nice too. Of course, the Energy Ball is very, very likely here, so I'm going to actually end up switching out into my, I believe it's my, it's my Silvally, I think, that I switch out into. So he's going to go for the Energy Ball, of course. Pretty obvious there. Does a good amount of damage from this. I can tell him, I mean, he just maxed special attack, so information. And we do find out that he is Z-Move. So he's not Life Orb, he's actually Z-Move. It's Gigabolt Havoc, of course, for my Empoleon, most likely. And, of course, we are still asleep, so, which is unfortunate, because now I have to pretty much just sack my Silvally, which is really bad, because this actually opens up kind of a hole in my team for Crocodile a little bit more. And also kind of means that this Latios could maybe have more of a ball, but he kind of just reveals a lot of his set to me. Of course, you know, he did reveal 2 moves that Delmies would be resistant to, so I guess going for Ice Beam was the correct play to make. But I don't know, I feel like it was just revealing more of his set. I honestly couldn't do much more with Silvally. Like, I guess I could, like, maybe bring it in on Aromatisse and, like, rest up back up again. But even then, it really wouldn't have been that worth it, I guess. I don't know. I felt like it was at too low of an point of HP where it really didn't matter too much. So, anyway, we end up going out into, I believe it's Mega Pidgeot. Yeah, so it's going to be Mega Pidgeot. And I also kind of misplay here as well. I end up going for the U-turn. The U-turn. And I honestly could have just gone for Hurricane and got off a ton of damage on really whatever one it came in. I'm pretty sure that I would have been able to 2-hit KO this Flareon anyway, even with that Assault Vest. I'd have to do the calc, but It's still kind of unfortunate, but I end up going for a U-turn. I guess we get momentum, which is nice. And I'm pretty sure I just go out into Seismitoad to take more Flare Blitzes. I could have, honestly, was contemplating going out into Dragonite here, but if he was ending up running, like, Quick Attack or something to break my multi-scale, that would have been really annoying. And, honestly, I just decided I thought it was best to go out into Seismitoad just because if he is running that, because then he could just switch into Aromatisse, and I can't really hit that much, and it's really just a prediction game at that point. So, speaking of Aromatisse, here it is. I think I just knock off here. I think I learned from my mistake. Yeah, I do. So, we end up knocking off this thing's leftovers, which is really nice, because now it doesn't get any more recovery other than Wish. So, that's really nice. I kind of make a misplay here. Not really. I stay in with Seismitoad when I could have easily just switched into Delmies, but at this point, I didn't really want to risk Crocodile sweeping, and I didn't want to, like, break any Culver. So I end up going for Toxic. I meant after this, I end up kind of misplaying here. I end up staying in. He does get a crit with Moonblast. We do use Scald, and it does a decent amount, but it doesn't really do enough to the point where it really matters. Honestly, I could have easily just gone Delmies there and just gotten a lot of pressure off on his team. He does crit me with Moonblast, which is unfortunate because it puts me at a much lower point of HP, which means that my Seismitoad is much more weakened and cannot take as many attacks. So, that's unfortunate. Other than that, we end up going out into Raikou. And I end up going for, I believe, the Volt Switch here again. Just because I did want to kind of just get momentum off. And I knew I couldn't deal a ton of damage to the Aromatisse. I'm pretty sure I just go for the Volt Switch here, and he goes into Flareon. I'm most likely, yeah. So he goes into Flareon. Unfortunately, if I had stayed in and gone for the T-Bolt, I would have been able to take this thing out, but we do go for the Volt Switch, and he is able to live, and this thing just becomes just more of an annoyance. It's not really, like, a problem. It's really just annoying. So we go back out into Seismitoad, honestly, just because I wanted to... Again, with, like, Dragonite, I could have gone into Dragonite, but at the same time, he could have easily just gone into Aromatisse. So, just another reason that I probably should have just been able to should have just gone in Delmies and got rid of it. But he ended up revealing the Body Slam, which is interesting. I guess it doesn't do as much damage as Return, but at the same time, it is cool, I would say, because it does get potentially get a Para. So, that's kind of cool, because it can... I mean, even though I have things like, of course, Seismitoad and Raikou, it is nice for things like Pidgeot and Dragonite. So, anyway, Body Slam is going to keep going off, and honestly, my Seismitoad is so weakened at this point, I honestly just keep going for Scalds. And he honestly could definitely 6-0 me right here. He doesn't, thankfully, but... And I make a huge misplay here, actually. No, I remember what happened. I make a huge misplay, and I end up going into Raikou when I realized that Flare Blitz, I was in the range of Flare Blitz, so I honestly don't know why I switched out there. That was such a dumb play on my part. It's not like Raikou was super important to me, just because it would have been good for, like, sacking off or dealing with Milotic, but at the same time, that was kind of a misplay, because now it just leads into Crocodile just coming in. I probably should have just sacked Seismitoad, honestly. Like, it didn't really do all that much. And also another misplay, kind of bringing in Delmies. Right here, I probably should have just... I mean, I don't think it was actually a misplay, because if I had gone into Dragonite and got my... I guess it wouldn't be a misplay, because then I could go Dragon Claw and then Extreme Speed, which would have been nice. So... I don't know. I don't think it's a misplay, but the Culver was super obvious here. But I guess it does force a switch. So, either way, presuming again. He goes into Aromatisse to sack it off. And we end up actually missing a Power Whip, which would have been really bad if Crocodile stated, but luckily for us, it's with Aromatisse, and unless he's running a lot of speed investment, we should be able to outspeed it and just take it out with Heavy Slam. So he's going to sack this thing off, and he's going to end up going out into Heracross, I believe, which I'm pretty sure I just end up sacking Seismitoad here. So would have been nice to probably have Raikou still around. I mean, I guess I... Oh, no, he doesn't sack Heracross. He goes for the bulk up, which I think was kind of a misplay on his part. I don't think sacking Delmies would have been the correct play to make, so I don't think that's really a good play. And honest... Okay, so I'm going to go into Mega Pidgeot here, of course, definitely applying a lot of pressure with Hurricane. And by doing this, he's most likely going to sack his Latios. And honestly, at this point in the game, I should have just Tailwinded. I should have Tailwinded here, because if I Tailwinded, he has to switch into Latios here. I knew he would too, and I just didn't make the play. If I had Tailwinded here, which would have lasted 4 turns, might I add, I would have been able to kill the Latios, deal a tremendous amount of damage to my Milotic, to the point where he had to recover, and that's also risking confusions and things like that. And also, I could have gone into Dragonite and potentially gotten Thunder Punches off. So, it wouldn't really made too much of a difference, but it would have applied a lot of pressure onto my Milotic and would not make so that he couldn't go into Crocodile. So, yeah. Anyway, he's going to go into Latios. And with that, I'm just going to go for Hurricane here. I didn't go for the Tailwind play. I could have gone for U-turn too, honestly. Which would have been a nice play, because then I could have gone into, like, Dragonite or something. The problem is he still has that Crocodile and Milotic core, so I can't just spam Thunder Punch or Fire Punch or something like that. Because with Crocodile, I can't go Fire Punch to kill the Heracross because he has Milotic. I can't go for Thunder Punch to kill the Milotic because he has the Crocodile. So, really, I kind of have to go for Dragon Claw here. So, he's going to go Milotic. Honestly, I could have just Hurricaned here and... no, I Tailwind because I knew he would recover. I could have U-turned here, but I did want to have the Tailwind up just in case, you know. And I make a huge misplay here. I end up going into Delmies to take the Ice Beam, because I knew it was coming. So, what I did was, instead of going for, like, just a Hurricane to get off damage, I go into, Delmies to take the Ice Beam, or U-turn out to Delmies. But at the same time, I can't take another Ice Beam, which is the problem. So, unfortunately, I can't take another Ice Beam. So, that's just really unfortunate in general. So now I can't take an Ice Beam. And I go for Power Up, of course, to take out the Milotic if he ends up randomly, like, going for, like, Recover or something. We get a lot of damage off on the Heracross, so that's really nice. But he goes for Rock Blast, and he just kills me, so that's fine. So, yeah. He kills me with Rock Blast. I don't know. I guess he was, I mean, could have been expecting Pin Missile. But at the same time, you know, just reason why I did that. Now, this is kind of like a 50-50 here. I end up going for the Tailwind here because essentially what I have to do, I could have just taken out the Heracross. And I'm pretty sure a Adamant Crocodile should take me out, but a Jolly Crocodile takes me out with a Stone Edge. So I pretty much... The only way I could potentially win here was if he went for, like, if he switched out into, like, say, Milotic, and I went for Tailwind or maybe something like that. Honestly, I honestly should have just gone for Hurricane here, because then I would have been able to, like, kind of, like, switch out in between certain Mons and maybe deal damage onto the Milotic. So I kind of misplayed here. And I end up going for the Tailwind. I don't know if I was really a misplay, but if he had gone like straight up Milotic or maybe Crocodile, I don't know. But I Tailwind here, and that was kind of, I immediately realized this afterwards. And he goes for Rock Blast, and it kills. So, unfortunate there, but yeah. So we end up losing Pidgeot, and honestly at this point I really just have to go for Dragon Claw here, because I can't go for, like I said earlier, Thunder Punches. I could have gone for Extreme Speeds. I don't think that would have taken out, it wouldn't have taken out Milotic, but it would have definitely helped with Crocodile, so there's that. Can I not get Skype calls, please? Anyway. Yeah, so we're going to just Dragon Claw here. It's really our only option at this point. Ice Beam, of course, comes off, and yeah, so we just Dragon Claw here. Dragon gets a few kills, which I'm happy about. And honestly, in the end, yeah, honestly, really what I have to do here is, the Tailwind peters out, unfortunately. The last turn I need it. And, so unfortunately, we end up, losing. I don't know if he needed to risk the Stone Edge miss. I'm pretty sure Knockoff would have killed anyway, but the only way I could have won that is his Stone Edge miss, and honestly, I would have probably just not liked, I would have not liked to win that way. It's not really that fair to Todd, but Todd played great. I think he really just got me in a lot of the 50-50s. I think I played fine. I definitely played a lot better than last week, especially the early game. It was kind of my late game that I kind of screwed up. I did realize that Dragonite could potentially win. I just couldn't, I couldn't really piece together how in order to do that, and I think that kind of led to my downfall. I think we both misplayed a little bit, but I think Todd definitely got the better of me. And Scarf Crook, I let a lot of my mons just get weakened, but that's what happens. Yeah, that's on me. But not too much hacks, which I'm happy about. I actually really enjoyed this battle. It was really fun. Great playing to Todd. Check out his channel. I don't think he uploads, but still, just check out his channel. Why would you have to ask? But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you did like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see all of you in the next video. See ya later. Bye.